sitting right now at the beginning of this rally, and these beautiful people are not making enough noise. Right, so they are saying that the immigration is causing a housing problem, and they're also saying that they do not want the Australian flag burned. They're also saying that the Australian people should be put first all the time. Is that right? Yeah!
Come on! They're going to have a few speakers and an open mic afterwards. So, thank you. Well, I think it was a pretty good march, and thank you everyone for marching with us. I think we're all a bit wet now. But we're gone regardless. I'd like to welcome up Peter. Well, Peter!
Hello, everyone. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Well, I've got to admit, I think I've woken up. I've had my head in the sand. A few weeks back, all of it made sense. I used to think you might be crazy. Who's crazy? Not us! They're always crazy. Yeah, my eyes are open, and I honestly believe that we're in danger. We're in danger, and today that danger starts with reckless immigration. It's tearing our country apart. They call it compassion. I call it national self-sabotage. Mass immigration is breaking our nation. Don't tell me that we're standing strong when every sign that shows that we're buckling. Our hospitals are screwed, our schools are stretched, our roads are clogged, our public housing is out of reach, and it's just not okay. This isn't generosity, and this isn't inclusion. This is betrayal of the Australian people. Let me ask you, who pays the price? We do. Who pays the price? Our taxes are through the roof, yet our services are collapsing around us. Families are struggling to survive. The average home costs over $1 million. $1 million in 3 years. $800 a week. How the heck can you survive on a one-wage income as a single mum? While Australians and Aussies, while we all work harder, the rich, they buy 10 houses and rent them back to us at obscene costs. The banks are milking us dry, and the government dares to call it progress. Chill out, Albo says. Relax, we're doing well. They tax the worker, they reward the idle, and they punish the Australian who tries to do well and get ahead. Again, we're not anti-immigration. We welcome those who contribute and build to the Australia that we have, but mass migration is not okay. It's crushing our wages, it's driving up our housing, and it divides communities. Immigration without integration breeds division. And I'll say that again, integration is paramount to what we're doing today. You can't integrate without integrate. Our flag, let me tell you about our flag. Why on earth are we allowing the Aussie flag to be burned? Why are we allowing other people's flags to fly above our own? Why is it that we're ashamed or getting made to feel ashamed of flying our own flag? That flag, that blue ensign flag, that red ensign flag, that Eureka flag represents all of us, our heritage, our country, and our identity, and it must never be replaced. Yeah, that same government that disrespects our flag is stripping away our freedoms. Digital ID, they call it convenience. They call it convenience, I call it control. Once your ID, your license, and your payments are digital, your freedoms is in their hands and not ours. Every login, every purchase, every movement tracked, stored and monitored. And if you speak out or you don't comply, they'll silence you. That's not safety, that's surveillance. That's not democracy, that's dependency. They've sold our land, our minerals, our manufacturing, and they want our privacy. That isn't leadership, that's control. Enough is enough. I've had enough. Enough of the control. Enough of the politicians that won't stand up for us. We're not radicals, we're not racists, and we're not extremists. We're Australians. If we don't stand up today, if we don't stand up, whether it's through social media, whether it's through conversations that we have, whether it's through our elections, we're gone, we're lost, we're finished. We need to stand up. I said we need to stand up.
So next up, we got Jordan Wood from the Libertarian Party. Everyone give a round of applause!
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Man, it is sensational to look out and see all those Australian flags. Can everyone just hold those up for me for a second? Man, that is sensational. That fills me up inside. You know, I haven't felt this kind of pride in a long time, because maybe for the past 15 years, our government and the mainstream media have been trying to make us feel ashamed. Ashamed to be Australian, as if our history is something that I have to apologise for, or our national pride is something that we should feel guilty about. But the truth is, we built this country, we paid for it, we defended it. And you would think that that would make us the government's top priority, but it certainly doesn't feel that way, does it? It feels like the people who built this country are now being told to get to the back of the line. But we paid the taxes that built the roads, the schools, the hospitals, defended the nation, and yet somehow we're treated like second-class citizens in our own country. But if you're from a different continent, from a place where your values oppose everything that Australia stands for, well, not only do you not have to add to the wealth of this nation, but you can also extract from it. The Victorian Labor government just gifted a brand new house worth about $500,000 to a Middle Eastern woman named Julia. That's our money. I'm still paying for my own mortgage, and now I've got to pay for hers too. And to be fair, I'm not mad at Julia. She didn't do anything wrong. Somebody offered her a brand new house and she took it. Who wouldn't? I'm mad at the politicians, because that's our money and they're using it to buy votes. And they're not just buying votes, they're importing them. It's a three-step scam on the Australian people. Step one, extort us for taxes. Step two, import people from a country where they don't share our democratic values. And then finally, when they get here, buy their loyalty with our money. And that's how you create voters for life. And they've been doing this for years, slowly ratcheting up immigration until we finally noticed that, hey, Sydney doesn't look like Sydney anymore. Well, we've noticed. We've noticed that the price of houses is through the roof. The violent crime is on the rise, and we're culturally divided like never before. I never used to have to worry about whether my kids would be able to own a house. Now I don't think they'll own a house until I die. I never used to hear about machete attacks on the news. Now the news is saying they might stop reporting on them in case it causes racial tensions. Well, that's an odd thing to say. And the politicians, well, they're so far removed from real life living over in Canberra that they will never have to live with the consequences of their decisions. But there is something we can do about it. Australia is a fantastic country. I love this country, I've fought for it, and I'll continue to fight for it. That's why the Libertarian Party wants a hard reset on immigration. Scrap the quota system and only allow people into this country who actually share our values. And if people want to come here in the future, enjoy the roads that we've built, the schools that we pay for, the freedoms that our grandparents died for, well, they can pay for that privilege. An immigration fee, a one-time, upfront, significant contribution to the nation that they're joining to demonstrate a commitment to Australia. And while we're at it, welfare should be for Australian citizens only. That shouldn't be a controversial statement. You can't just step off a plane and start taking advantage of a system that we built and we're paying for. And finally, we decide our immigration policy here in Australia. Not in Davos, not in Geneva. No UN treaty, no global company should decide who we invite into this country, nobody other than us. And if that sounds like something that if that sounds like a fair go to you, come and see me at the Burgundy tent at the back, right? And in the next election, send a message to the world that this country, Australia, still belongs to Australians, and put the major parties last. My name's Jordan Woodhams. I'm the president of the Libertarian Party, WA, and I am not ashamed to say that I am proud to be Australian. Thank you very much.
Everyone can hear you, applause! Next up, we got One County for One Nation!
Okay guys, thanks for coming along again, for marching for Australia again. It was a great march last time, and it was a huge success. Now, we were able to force a discussion last time about mass immigration, and we'll do that again now because they think it'll disappear, but that's why we're here again today, because it's not going to disappear. Now, in the lead up to the last march in August, the mainstream media did everything it could to discourage people from turning up. And today I think what they've done is the opposite. They've just ignored the march because they don't want people knowing about this march. Even the woke PM Anthony Albanese was forced to admit that there was a problem with mass immigration. There was legitimate concerns by every one of you out there. They desperately tried to paint us all as racists. That's something that's desperately tried. So anyway, but something that can be discussed is multiculturalism, and if it really is a good thing. Who thinks multiculturalism is a good thing? I would argue we can't have multiple cultures. We need to all share one culture that we put above everything else. That's the Australian culture. I consider an Australian to be someone who wants the best for this country and our fellow citizens. An Australian is someone who wants to live in peace and prosperity and wants our kids to have the same for many generations. An Australian is someone who will always put Australia first, not all these other countries, not marching for Palestine. Being an Australian is something that is not based on skin colour. Being Australian is about shared lives, values, culture, unity on this island continent. And when you become an Australian, you need to adopt the existing values, our culture and our identity, and put them above everything else. You can have your freedom of religion, but not if your religion does not allow other people the freedom of their religion. We've seen that when they've tried to persecute Christians in this country, while at the same time allowing all other religions and boosting them up and allowing them to do whatever they want. You can have free speech, but you also must accept hearing things that you don't like. and you're never allowed to be violent. But some cultures don't see things that way. Some cultures are about their own cultural supremacy. And this is where multiculturalism becomes a problem. It has turned into tolerating things that shouldn't be tolerated. I'm very comfortable with Australia being multiracial, multi-ethnic society. I love that people from all over the world contribute to this country in constructive ways. Migrants just need to assimilate. They came here to be Australians, not to be representatives of their country of origin. You can carry on your traditions as long as they are compatible with agreed upon Australian values. Migrants who take the citizenship test are asked questions that make this clear. If your tradition and culture is to treat women as possessions, you can't carry on that way. If your tradition is to mutilate the genitals of your infant, that's not okay here. If your culture includes structural racism like a caste system, we don't want that here. If carrying on with those sorts of things is more important to people than being in Australia, they shouldn't have come here in the first place. But people from other countries that want to live here and assimilate are not the problem. The problem is the number of people being let in and the lack of scrutiny in the people who are let into this country. There is no longer a focus and insistence on assimilation of migrants. It did not used to be this way in this country. I remember when everyone was proud of being Australian and when there was a real sense of national unity. I remember when the Sydney Olympics, where the chant of Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi originated. Back then we had real national pride. The highlight of the Olympics was Kathy Freeman winning her gold medal. It gave the nation goosebumps and it demonstrated Australians aren't racist. If we were a racist country, why would we celebrate the win of an Indigenous woman? Kathy's win was all about hope for an Australia where we were unified as one nation. So how did we get here? Why is carrying an Aussie flag and chanting Aussie, Aussie, Aussie not okay? Why are we allowing mass migration at a time when the housing crisis, we don't have enough hospitals, we have overflowing roads, we have a medical system that can't cope, we have ambulance ramping up all day. Why are we being told that we are inherently racist for wanting to maintain our standard of living? Why are we being accused of spreading misinformation when we just point out facts? Why are we called bigots for being proud of this country? The media, Labor and Liberals are all in on it. So you have to ask yourself, why are they running with the same narrative? Maybe it's because the Liberals, Labor and the media are all owned by the same donors. The big banks and multi-corporations have a huge amount of influence over advertising, donations, offering politicians and journalists lucrative future careers. So that is why they all sound the same all the time. But this is not just the case here in Australia. It's something that has happened in all Western countries. Look at Europe. Look at the UK. They have implemented policies which are destroying those nations and it's resulting in social unrest. We don't want that here in Australia, do we? But that is where we are heading as well. The UK Prime Minister, the two-tier Kia, wants to make digital IDs mandatory. The UK already puts people in prison if they speak out against the government. Don't think it can't happen here. It can. As a matter of fact, we're on the exact same path. Elbow and Starmer are joined at the hip. But we still have our democracy and we need to use it. And that is what we're doing again today. That is also what is happening in the UK and Europe, with reform in the UK, the AfD in Germany, Marine Le Pen in France, and what has already happened in the USA with Donald Trump. People in the Western world are starting to wake up. If you're here today, you're already awake. And now we need to wake up our fellow citizens. To quote from John Farnham, you're the voice. Make it clear. Our nation is under attack. Mass migration and not requiring assimilation from everyone is a threat to every Australian, regardless of background. If we focus on what divides us, we will never be united as one country. Diversity is not our strength. Unity is our strength. If we're not united, it will lead to unrest and maybe even violence. Nobody benefits from that. So speak out. Don't be intimidated. If people say you're a racist for wanting to end mass immigration, tell them that every migrant who is already here will benefit from it. We need to look after the Australians who are already here rather than let more in we cannot accommodate without reducing our standard of living. So in summary, thank you for coming out here today, thank you for being proud of our country, and thank you for marching for Australia. Now I'll finish off by saying you've seen what's been happening around this country, you've seen the numbers of the One Nation Party going, you've seen Pauline Hanson has never ever moved away or shied away from being targeted for speaking up for you, the people of this country. The same way Pauline Hanson hasn't stood back, we've got our Senator Tyrone Whitten here, who was elected in the last election as a Senator for Western Australia and One Nation. He's here today to support all of you, the same way I and my other colleagues who have been elected in this state under One Nation banner. We won't hold back to stand strong in unification to speak out the things that we should be speaking out for you, the people of Western Australia. Now I want to just tell you one little quick thing that's going on in Parliament at the moment, just to give you an example of what our governments do. We've got surrogacy going in through the Parliament today, where they want to allow now, rather than just heterosexual couples who are infertile, can't have children, they want to make it for same-sex couples, transgender, single people, all these people being given the right to be able to have a baby through surrogacy. It's just disgusting, it's terrible. They want to change the rules so that it's not a 25-year-old woman that's had a baby before that's able to be a surrogate mother. They want to allow 18-year-old high school girls to be surrogate mothers and give away that baby. That's the sort of decisions that are going through these parliaments under Labor governments. It's such a shame that they think an 18-year-old girl could do that. It's terrible. Those are the things we are fighting for as One Nation. We have a voice and we're not afraid to speak up and say that transgender people should not be having surrogate children. The biological sex is a fact. So anyway, thank you again for coming out in this weather. It's turned out to actually be not a bad day, and I love seeing the pride out there today. And there's beautiful flags. Let's just keep waving them continuously every day, every week. And God bless you all, and thank you for coming. Cheers. Huge big round of applause for Rod Cuddy's One Nation. Up next, we've got Paul Howard from the Australian Patriots Party. Give him a round of applause.
Hello everybody. It makes me so proud to see so many patriotic Australians here again today. Looking at the big crowd continues to give me hope that there is definitely some fight left in our bodies. Now, I would like to acknowledge the fact that I will never accept being welcomed to our own country by any other race. And if you want to talk about First Nations, well, let me tell you, the only nation that has ever existed on this continent is Australia. We, the Anglo-Celts, are the First Nation. There has long been a plan amongst the elite to turn Australia into another Asian country through mass immigration, because some people think it's good for business. But let me tell you, these people are completely wrong and short-sighted. Mass immigration not only drives down wages and working conditions, it also jacks up rents and property prices. Not to mention what it does to our infrastructure and all the traffic on our roads. And how many homeless Aussies do we have now? It is a national disgrace. Shame! But most importantly, Australia is not just an economy made up of a population. We are a nation made up of a people. And the core people of Australia are the Anglo-Celts. Know your history. The Anglo-Celts have created and sustained high levels of wealth and civilization on this continent, just like in so many other parts of the world. We are the backbone, the base, the root, the core, the anchor, and we are the strength of Australia. Australia is not strong because of diversity. That's bullshit. We are strong despite diversity. Our politicians have been trying to turn Australia into Oz-China-Indiastan. But I don't think we should be Oz-China-Indiastan. I think we should be Australia! Mass immigration equals replacement immigration. Now, let us not forget that thousands of our brave diggers fought and died for this country to stop us becoming Asian. I might add that many of these diggers will now be turning in their graves if they can see what is happening to Australia today. The deliberate intention to replace the people is morally repugnant and wrong on every level. And besides, you don't create a stronger society by importing teeming hordes of vastly different foreign peoples. You create a stronger society by strengthening your own core, which is done by increasing your own people's birth rate. And encouraging them to be part of their heritage, culture and way of life. We need to end mass immigration before it ends us. As a nation is only as strong as its people, and if you import the third world, you will eventually become the third world. We Anglo-Celtic Australians have a right to remain the dominant majority group in Australia, and never let anyone tell you otherwise. Thank you so much for everyone for listening and participating today. My name is Paul Howard and I represent the Australian Patriots Party. Now just one more thing. Australia lives and marches on!
Good afternoon, Perth! Some of you may not know me. Some of you may recognise me from various social medias. My name's Billy. I'm the March for Australia representative here in Perth. I'd like to preface my following remarks with a bit of a disclaimer. I'm not typically one for public speaking. However, it's become clear to me that comfort is the enemy of progress. We as Australians are facing a crossroads. We must reject the easy way out and take the path less travelled. Fuck that! Would you rather tell your children or your grandchildren that you were content with wasting away in comfort while their future was sold out from underneath us? Or would you rather tell them that you weathered the storm and you fought for them? I've made my choice. Now I call on Australia to make theirs. For years, Australia has been subject to a veritable flood of overseas migration, which, as has become ever so apparent, has offered no significant benefit to those down here in the thick of it. We've been exposed to a rising tide of violent crime, housing shortages, struggling communities, congested infrastructure, overcrowded schools and a failing healthcare system, plagued by wait times that make a licensing centre look like a speedway. These are all just examples of what we can see around us as everyday Australians. What we can't see is much worse. Our emerging youth locked out of jobs, fated to remain under the thumb of landlords and banks. The foundational bloodlines of Australia replaced with new Australians who do not share the morals or principles our nation was built on. How much multiculturalism is enough when the Australian identity is erased from existence, when governments can impose Orwellian laws to stomp out our free speech or democratic rights in the name of social cohesion and combating hate speech? When the burdens of the entire world are shifted to our shoulders, when does it end? Only when we say enough. Leftist-dominated institutions and government bodies will attempt to sway our positions about these issues and force the blame back onto us, framing it as an issue of laziness or lack of responsibility. This rhetoric is not only disingenuous but is downright disrespectful. How can we as Australians be expected to begin down the path of self-improvement or career advancement when we are consistently failing to keep our heads above the water and food on the table? We all know the truth, but when we finally decide to address it, we're pigeonholed with labels like racist or xenophobe. They tell us our Anzacs would be turning in their graves to see us here today. They shamelessly attempt to twist and subvert our ancestors' values to fit their treasonous agenda, but they fail. We know what our ancestors fought and bled for. We know that they did not ship off to foreign lands in defence of an Australia that would become a dumping ground for the third world. We know they didn't die to protect a patch of dirt so the entire world may be welcome to its shores to pillage, pervert and destroy it. They fought and bled for their brothers, for their wives, for their children, for their grandchildren. They fought for us, because they are us and we are them. They knew, like we know now, that Australia is not its borders or an abstract set of values lacking definition. Australia is its people. Australia is blood and soul. Australia is us. And it falls to us to stand as our forefathers did in defence of the greatest nation on earth, before it falls to foreign powers, globalist financialist interests and the corruption of political elites. A nation which is unable or unwilling to fight for its survival is destined to fade away into the pages of history. This world is not for cowardly people. I, for one, will not be living quietly while our political class treats my people's identity like a commodity to be traded or an accessory to be worn, while the only country I've ever loved is quietly ground down into no more than an economic zone for the rest of the world to exploit. I will stand proudly as an Australian and defend my nation against any storm. Can the new paper citizens say the same? We must end mass migration now. Australian must remain Australian. Oi, oi, oi! We're going to be opening up the stage to some members of the community now. It's important that everyday Australians have a voice. Before I hand the microphone over, I'd like to promote the future plans for March for Australia. We're going to be hosting some private events in the future, building our support systems and our communities in preparation for Australia Day 2026, where we will be taking our National Day back. We need to organise ourselves and take real action towards our goals and regain our lost sense of community. Thank you, Perth. God bless Australia. Let's have a round of applause for Hamish Smith.
How the bloody hell are ya? It's truly remarkable to see so many gathered here today, braving the weather. And I also offer my sincere thanks to the organisers for bringing this pivotal event together. First, I wish to address the labels readily attached to us: racist and violent. Look around, there's a peaceful demonstration for an issue the vast majority of Australians identify with. These labels are attached to us as a political tactic to demonise us as something we are not, and to justify the unjustifiable aggression extremists seek to inflict upon us. They wish to make this issue taboo. They would feel righteous in looking down on us, elevating themselves to an imaginary ivory tower with a holier-than-thou attitude. But that is not where they reside. They are in the streets with us, and the very fabric of our communities is visibly fraying. While Anthony Albanese recently commented during his visit to the UK that he would not like to see reform-like movements take hold in Australia, let us remind him of the High Court decision that the freedom of political communication is a constitutional right of every citizen. And that right will not be infringed. You come from a long, unbroken line of strong, proud men and women. They built this country with their hands and defended her with their blood and tears. Do not surrender that inheritance because you fear offending someone whose only objective is to silence you. We will never be silenced. In under 50 days since the last March for Australia event, over 70,000 migrants have arrived. In 2024, we managed to build approximately 170,000 new homes, while net migration soared to 446,000. The consequence is that people are now competing for goods and services that demand cannot possibly meet. Mass migration is driving the cost of living crisis to a tipping point, while the media and politicians are deliberately sweeping it under the rug. Our children are not just being denied the security of housing, they are being denied a future. When independent surveys show that up to 85% of immigrants consistently vote Labor, and this government continues its policy of deliberate mass inflow, at what point does this transcend ethical politics and become a concerted attempt at voter fraud? The reality is that our government is fundamentally sick and infected with corrupt individuals across the entire political spectrum. We're burdened with an e-safety commissioner that seeks to monitor your life and hand your identity to tech companies with no accountability on data usage. We have a racist discrimination commissioner who openly and evidently has a bias towards white Australians. We have a sex discrimination commissioner who is unable to define the fundamental reality of a biological male. We have an environment minister who sacrifices native forests to make way for inefficient wind farms. We have an energy minister who's actively undermining the stability of our power grid and ensuring the only surge we see is in prices. We have an immigration minister sanctioning an inflow of people who openly clash with our national values and the safety of our society. We have a social services minister draining taxpayer funds to support immigrants who have not made an economic contribution. We have a housing minister failing to deliver homes or streamline the process to get jobs done. We have a Home Affairs Minister maintaining silence on radical far-left threats while systematically targeting the right wing. And to top it all off, a Prime Minister who deliberately erodes social unity, then laments the public anger directed towards himself. Perhaps the new chief of the Australian Federal Police, who's tasked with protecting social cohesion, should begin by focusing on these phony leaders. Fostering a cohesive society requires that a migrant coming to a new country genuinely embrace that nation that provides them with a better opportunity. Wishing to fundamentally change and erode our social and cultural identity, marginalising the regular citizens of the host nation is nothing short of a foreign insurgency. Australia has its own very unique set of domestic issues. Importing other nations' cultural divisions only works to destroy and erode our social cohesion. Australia was once rightly hailed as the lucky country. World War II aside, our homeland has been largely protected from the horrors of modern warfare. Mass immigration has now brought these deep divisions directly to our doorstep. We march not out of a desire to be sheltered from the harm that is being wrought upon us, but to be defiant and fearless in confronting and overcoming it. We march to once again restore the prosperity and stability of this great nation. We march for Australia. Thank you, everyone. Once again, it's awesome to see so many of you come out, brave the weather today. And I'd like to invite everyone who has something to say or wants their voice heard to come and be part of the open mic. Thanks, boys.
All right, up next we've got Dee, another member of the community. Put your hands together for her.
Hi everyone. I'd just like to say thank you all for coming out in this tragic weather. You make me proud to be an Australian. Thank you. And I only have a small message for Mr. Albanese. This is not about immigration that comes here to assimilate. It's about those that come here to infiltrate our Australian way of life. So to Mr. Albanese, I only have 2 words to say to you. Just stop. That's it. Thank you all. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Thank you.
Thank you. No worries. All right, up next we've got little Aiden and Reese. Come on up, boys. Woo. All right.
Hey everyone! Sally to Reese! Hello! Sally to Aiden! That guy's right on here, right there! Shout louder! I'm too late! Come on! Well, now it's time to talk. All I've been seeing is, you know Albanese? He's a traitor! Everybody in politics is a traitor! He just works at all levels! Okay. Yeah, he is! Exactly! Come on, Reese!
Hello, I am Reese. I need saving. We need help from Albo. He is cutting us off. We need to stop mass immigration and we need to put Australia first. We are Aussie. People will call us racist, call us all those names. We are not. Australia is Australia. We need saving. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get a house because the prices keep going up and up.
What he said, I was just about to talk about that. Well, yeah. I honestly think I'm not going to buy a house if Albanese is going to keep it. Yeah. Albo never listens to us. Exactly what he said. I'm probably going to be in like an army or something. I'm just going to live, probably camping out. Oh, look like he is. It's not about colour. It's about creed. Australia for Australians. Well, we got others. I just need to say, if you like Australia, stay. If you don't and want to change it to your own country, get out.
We are Australia. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. I want to be Australian. I do not want to be the other countries that they are trying to turn us into. We are Australia. We are not all the other countries. We should have a choice. But Albo's trying to cut us out. We need choice. We are Aussie. We are Aussie. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi.
Well, I need to say one more thing. Albo is a commie. What about you?
Albo's a wanker. He's a traitor. Communist wanker. He's a traitor. Good.
Say, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! 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 Aussie, Aussie! Let's go!
Yes, thank you, Aiden. And Reese. All right,
up next, up next we have got Robert, future policymaker, he reckons. Let's go. All right.
Hey, I'm Robert, and I'm seeing a huge problem in this country. It's just not sustainable what we're doing. You know, what these politicians are doing. You know, they're importing so many people, like keeping wages down, pushing house prices up. You know, they're going to turn Australia into slums. And they're happy with that. They're going to be slumlords. You know, they're like, oh yeah, this is good, we're raking in the money, we're going to, you know, it doesn't affect us, you know. They're not real Australians. You know, these two major parties have been destroying Australia, and they don't care, because they're racking in the money. You know, they've got multiple houses, right? Multiple businesses, and they don't care that they're destroying smaller businesses, someone that just has one or whatever, right? You know, it's also about us, you know, the future generation. We want houses for our kids. How are they going to afford it, right? We can't just shove the younger generation into rental rooms even, you know, 8 people to a house just to save up, right? So I'm really hoping to make some policies, maybe join a party, you know. If I do make my own party and you guys can join me, it would be called Housing and Quality Party. Quality living! Housing and Quality Living Party! Woo! But yeah, I've seen a fair of these new parties, like Libertarian Party. One Nation's been around for a while and they're looking good. I want to support my fellow small parties, right? And you know, that's becoming increasingly impossible, okay? Under Labor, and I think the Liberals too, they approved it, they cut funding for smaller parties, right? They just want 2 parties doing the same thing, millions of people coming in. We can't house the entire world, right? You know, we can't house all these nations, like everyone would want to come here, right? But we don't have the houses, right? It's got to be sustainable, we got to catch up. We've got to focus on building houses, right? And letting quality people come in. Quality people that can build the houses, have the skills, nurses, actual people with skills that can help us, right? And from a similar culture, right? There's a lot of diversity already from Europe, right? And I love my food from every single nation, right? I love immigrants from everywhere, right? So we just got to cap it, right? Maybe 1,000 per country or something. At the end of the day, maybe a cap of 75,000 people a year or less, right? We just got to lower it. All right, I got to wrap it up, but thanks for hearing me out. I've got a ton load of policies that would help people out, and I want to make Australia a better place that we love to live in. I don't want to live in slums. We don't want to live in slums. All right, thank you, Australia. Bye.